Welcome everybody, it's Turbo Taormino here, and today's a great day because I've purchased the RetroN 5 and I plan on putting it through the ringer. So, this is the RetroN 5 for GBA, SNES, NES, Genesis, and Famicom. The box is slightly smushed, but it's okay because I care with what's inside, not really the box. So, graphical user interface, wireless controller, HDMI output, audio video enhancement, wireless, two NES ports, two SNES ports, two Genesis ports. Comes with a wireless controller. I've heard some gripes about it, and we'll go ahead and I'll give you my opinion on it once I open this box. Alright, so let's go ahead and open up this bad boy. Alright. Gotta be very precise. That one already looks broken. And I think that's it. Make sure you guys can see. I'm opening it up upside down. Come on, I got one shot at this. Don't mess with me, box. Okay. The RetroN 5. Okay. So we have the controller. A lot of people complained about the clickiness. I don't have a problem with it just yet, but we'll see how it plays out with the games that I play. You have your adapter, and then you also have your little sack of plugins. I don't need to open this up, but this is for if you're in different regions. They're for each different outlets. So we can set that aside. If I ever go to Australia or Japan, I'll make sure that I take those with me. So next we have a regular USB cord that will go to charging the controller. And the most exciting part, I know this is so much fun, HDMI. Who doesn't have 1,001 of those already? Alright, and the big thing here, I'm opening it backwards, but the RetroN 5. Looks pretty good, although I saw some smooshing on the box. System looks good. You know what? People were complaining about the flexibility of in between the slots, and I'm telling you, this is firm. I'm actually putting some good pressure on it, and this is solid. They must have upgraded this. So you have your power button right up front, your GBA slot. Then, as it says, I don't know if you have the reflection here. Famicom, NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis. All right there. You have your SNES, the number 2 slot, NES and Genesis, as well as the opposite end, Genesis 1, NES, and Super Nintendo. And then on the back, you have your SD card. This is going to be utilized for when you update the system. And if you want to use any cheat codes, any save states, your HDMI port, your USB for charging your controller, and your AC adapter. This little back part is designed to fit your controller. Like that, I guess. So, there's only one thing to do, and it's to test this thing out. Now let's go ahead and play Sonic 3 for the Sega Genesis. Now, as you can see, we have loading because the system is actually emulating the cartridge that I just put into the RetroN 5. On the right of the home screen, you can see where I last left off. And if we go down to game menu and cheats, we can see all the cheats available. Let's see if I can put... We'll do invincibility and we'll do mega jump. Just so you can see how it works. So I'll go ahead and play. And then we'll go ahead and change the filter as, well, let's put it, this is what scan lines would look like. And this is the original filter. Let's let it go. And then you can see how it looks. That clickiness of the controller. So you click home, remove the scan lines. That's without the scan lines. And then I had found the best filter for Sonic, at least in my opinion, is this one. And look how nice it looks. And that's, jeez, and that's your mega jump. So you can see that the cheat codes work. Now let's check our invincibility. Let's go see if this guy can try and hurt me. See? Invincibility. You can't touch me. So, the games play really, really well, even with the modified... Oh, there you go, look at those spikes. Even with the modified filters. I mean, in my opinion, Sonic 3 looks great. It looks so awesome. And if there's any way that I can find one of those massive rings to try and get a Chaos Emerald, I don't know where they're at this level. But the graphics are a lot smoother when you're trying to get through the Chaos Emeralds, and it's so nice because it helps out a lot. Let's see if I can get up there. Mega jump. Wait, did I find one? Oh, I must have already did it. Oh well. So this is Sonic. As you can see, you have your loading again. I've noticed that the loading times differ depending on how much data is in the cartridge. You'll see when I get to Pokemon Leaf Green, it's going to take a minute. Same thing, I don't need to show you the cheat codes at all, but so you can get a feel as to how the game looks, and you can do different types of filters if you want. This is Super Eagle, and the games play fine. I haven't had any issues. Oh, was that a bad bug? Oh well. I haven't had any issues with the way... Oh, you damn hyena. I haven't had any issues with the way that the games play or the way that the controller is created. The 8-way diagonal pad somehow gets very difficult, especially with Sonic 3 when you try to get those Chaos Emeralds and you're supposed to make those real sharp turns. It gets really, really tough. How do you roar? Oh no. You can also, that reminds me, you can also map the controllers to the systems that you're using. So right now I'm using the RetroN 5 controller for a Super Nintendo game. You can map the buttons on here to emulate the buttons that are on the Super Nintendo controller. You can have these 4 and then these 2 to maneuver through the menus. So that's also nice. You can, oh geez, you can map it even using the original controllers as well. This bird's gonna kill me. All right, so that is the Lion King. Seeing that loaded very quick for Super Smash Brothers. You can tell what's on my mind. Super Mario Brothers. And oh, see, so then there you go. The game actually just crashed. So it's going to load the game back up, and we're going to go ahead and play. And okay, so that's that. Now you can see the filter, especially for this game that's so simple with Super Eagle, it looks a little smudgy. I really like this HQX2. To me, it has some definition. I forget what my sprint button is. Oh well. Okay, so that's that. Okay, that's also my sprint. It's me, Mario, cheating. Woohoo! Alright, so, I mean, the whole point of this is to show you how these games play. Obviously, we're not having any issues with the NES port, and everything is loading fine, and the filters look great. So we'll go ahead and leave that there. Let's go ahead and return to the main menu. Now we'll get into the Game Boy, the Game Boy Color, and the Game Boy Advance. So we'll start with Game Boy. And we'll start with Pokemon Yellow. Man, I don't care. I just turned 30 years old. I'm still a humongous Pokemon fan. I'm looking forward to Pokemon Go. I'm looking forward to this new Pokemon Moon and Pokemon Sun. You can judge and I don't care. Surfing Pikachu, look at that. I remember that was such a huge thing. We used to say Pikachu and we're like, oh! Man, alright, so that is Pokemon Yellow. So we'll go to the main menu again. So smooth. And then the next one, we're gonna, again, a lot of these games aren't mine. Walt Disney World Quest Magical Racing Tour. I won't spend too much time on this one. It's essentially like a Mario Kart with Disney characters. So, we'll go ahead and play it. Looks like I was messing with this last time, and I don't remember. Okay. I don't... Okay, you shoot acorns. This game, I swear, it is... I guess people are leaving, like, cups of tea. Like, this is... I don't even know what I'm getting. It's a cannon? I got a cannon? Where'd it go? I hit the button and it disappeared. And it's weird, you can like lean forward too, or you can... Okay, I got an acorn. How about I just find someone to hit him with it? Come on, I'm recording this. Let me hit someone with an acorn. Here we go. Aha! Take that acorn. Okay, this game sucks. But that's a Game Boy Color game, and that's how it looks. So we'll return to the main menu before removing the cartridge. And we'll put in Pokemon Leaf Green. One thing to note, you do not want to have multiple cartridges in at the same time. You don't want to have a Sega Genesis cartridge in at the same time as a Super Nintendo or any other slot. Have one in at a time. That way it doesn't mess with the system. Make sure that you clean it, obviously. I don't like how the Game Boy port doesn't have like a little flipper that stops any type of dust or debris to blow in there. It's a huge gap. You know, it's a huge gap that fits a Game Boy cartridge that can collect a lot of dust. So I don't know if I'm gonna put something over that to make sure dust doesn't collect in there, but I'll show you the intro of the Pokemon Leaf Green here. Now this is with a filter. Actually, yeah. So awesome. Okay. Alright, we don't need to do this. Alright, let's go get into a battle. Oh, wonderful. Don't worry, this is the kids' video. Okay. Where's your bicycle at? Key items. Alright. Oh, I'm gonna have to go into the ocean anyway. Good job, ass. So, like I said before, this is with a filter on it, but actually, I think this game looks better without a filter. Because that's how it looks without a filter. Here's your 2XL, which gives it almost like a blurry look. Then you have your Super 2X, which has a little bit more clarity. Then you have your Super Eagle, which I feel like it's too blotchy. Then you go to your Scale X2, which doesn't look too bad for the game. IQ X2. And then the HQ X2, which I think is one of the better ones. But this one actually looks good without a filter on it. And let me go ahead kill this manatee. You're dead, fool! Alright. So that is the gameplay for the RetroN 5. Now let's go ahead and review the RetroN 5. Now I was actually on the fence for purchasing the RetroN 5 because I heard a lot of horror stories, and obviously when you go purchase an item you should go read the pros and you should read the cons, and a lot of the cons that I read made me a little leery before purchasing this item. Running down a few things that I had read, one was the plastic in between the cartridge slots was very, very flimsy and thin and not really flexible. That the cartridge slots themselves were way too tight, that they gripped the games too tight, and that you would hear this horrible, horrible crunching noise when you would try to pull your cartridge out of the slot, and some people were actually losing pins pulling their cartridges out of the slot. Then the controller did not fit well in their hands. It was not comfortable, and it was really annoying with its clicky sounds. I went ahead after unboxing. I used this system for about a week. I played every game, every retro game that I owned onto this system to run it through its paces in regards to the flexibility between the cartridge slots. I don't know if it's a newer version, but I have zero flexibility, which is a great thing. They've reinforced it, and as I showed you a little bit earlier in the video, there's no flexibility in there because a lot of people were complaining when they were attempting to pull the cartridges out using some downward force. They were afraid that plastic in between the port slots was going to break or snap, so they foresaw it being an issue. I don't foresee it being an issue. I showed you I was putting some considerable force on that and it was not even bending. In regards to the cartridge slots being too tight to fit the games, I don't know if they've loosened them up or if it's because that they've released videos on how to properly remove the cartridges from this system. What you have to do is hold the bottom of the cartridge on the left side, and on the right side lift it up. So try to force it up only on the right side of the cartridge, and it'll come out like that. And there's no issues that there are no issues that I had pulling cartridges out of the slots, except for my NES cartridge slot. I don't know if it's because I just didn't have my hands the right time when I was pulling it out for the very first time, because the cartridge is a lot bigger compared to the Sega or the Super Nintendo cartridges. But once I found out where to put my hands and to remove it, I haven't had any issues. The Game Boy cartridge slot, smooth as butter. For Game Boys, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color games, No issues whatsoever with that port. Personally, I wish they had a little flapper or something on there so there wouldn't be any dust that could collect in there. I don't know if maybe I'll put like a piece of tape over it. I'm not sure, to make sure that dust just doesn't collect in that little area, because it's a good wide open slot. But no issues really there. The controller, usually when I was playing the games, I never really gripped the controller too hard, so I can see where people were gripping the controllers too hard and it just feeling uncomfortable in their hands. So I didn't run into that issue that much. The clickiness, personally, it doesn't bother me, but in the same breath, it does bother me. Because I have the controller here, and you can imagine, as I'm talking to you, and I have a bunch of this clicking going on if I'm doing like a Let's Play, you're going to get really annoyed if I'm doing 10-15 minutes of Let's Plays, and all you hear is clicking in the background. So playing the game, and I'm not sitting in front of a camera, or I'm not recording my voice, no, I don't have a problem with it. But when I'm recording a Let's Play, I don't want you viewers to be annoyed by the amount of clicking that goes on from this controller. Luckily, the workaround for this is the RetroN 5 has ports where you can plug in your original controllers, such as your Super Nintendo controllers, and it's not going to have much of the clicking noise like the controller is for the RetroN 5, so that's your workaround. But for anybody who's on the fence about purchasing this item, like I was, I would honestly give you the green light. I didn't have any issues with the interface. The cheat code system is really, really cool. You go onto the manufacturer's website, you download a zip file, you open that zip file onto your SD card, and you put that SD card right into the back of your RetroN 5, and say when you plug in your Sonic 3 game or your Pokemon Leaf Green, you go to your game menu, and then you go to cheats, and then it'll have all your cheats listed there. And obviously you can go and add in more cheats if they're not on there. I don't think Leaf Green has any cheats in the system, but or at least they provided. But you can go in and add your old folder and everything like that. But it's got everything listed, and it's perfectly fine. A lot of them did work for me, especially when I was messing around with Sonic 3. If you add too many, or you add the wrong combination, sometimes you're going to get your game to freeze, or you're going to get it to crash. That happened to me a couple times. But that's no different than if you're using the Game Genie or the Game Shark on the old systems anyway. So if anyone's on the fence, I would say purchase this item. If you're looking to use it for Let's Plays like myself, it works with the Elgato game capture card. I'm using it through a simple HDMI cord and then plugged into an HD TV right next to my desk, so I've got everything plugged in here. The filters are great. Some people were kind of against the filters, but I mean, you don't have to use them. You can turn off the filters, you can leave scan lines on, or you can add filters and remove scan lines, you can enhance audio. So they've given you a lot of options to enhance your experience of playing these retro games that we kind of saw as kids, sitting in front of that old fat boob tube, playing these games with our face in the screen, just imagining what it would look like if we had a better picture, and we have it now. So I would definitely say, if you had the $135, at least that's what I bought it for, at least that's what the price is now off of Amazon, I would say go for it. I'm going to go ahead and leave the Amazon link in the description box where you can go ahead and purchase this. You can also see other user reviews of the product. I'm going to go ahead and put RetroN 5's link as well is in the description, so you can go ahead and look at their site, and they actually have a YouTube channel as well if you want to go and check them out. They have little videos like how to remove cartridges properly, and I showed you a little bit earlier in the video how to remove them, but they have little videos of how you set up your cheat codes and how to update the firmware if you ever need to update the firmware. It's just going through the SD card. So they have a bunch of videos on that, so it's kind of nice. But go ahead and check them out, and if you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. It would help me out a lot. And yeah, so tune in next time for my next unboxing and review. I appreciate it, and you guys have a good one.